Sophie fell in love with David from the moment she met him. He was kind, funny, and charming, and they quickly became inseparable. They spent every moment they could together, and Sophie thought that she had found her soulmate. But one day, Sophie discovered that David was married and had a family. She was devastated, heartbroken, and didn't know what to do. She felt like her world had fallen apart, and the depression started to set in. For months, Sophie was lost in her grief. She couldn't eat or sleep, and she spent most of her days crying. But slowly, she began to realize that she couldn't stay stuck in her pain forever. She started to seek help from a therapist, and she began to take small steps towards healing. It wasn't easy, but Sophie refused to give up. She started to focus on her own interests and hobbies, and she started to build a life for herself outside of David. Over time, she found joy in little things, like reading a good book, going for walks, and spending time with friends. But even though she was healing, Sophie couldn't bring herself to forgive David. She felt angry and hurt, and she couldn't imagine ever letting go of those feelings. Years went by, and Sophie continued to live her life, but the pain of the past never fully went away. Then, one day, she realized that she had to let go of her anger and bitterness. She knew that holding on to those feelings was only hurting herself, and she realized that forgiveness was the only way to move forward. Sophie reached out to David, and they had a conversation. She expressed her hurt and anger, but also her desire to forgive him and move on. It wasn't an easy conversation, but in the end, Sophie felt a weight lift off of her shoulders. It wasn't a sudden transformation, but slowly and steadily, Sophie overcame her heartbreak and depression. She learned that forgiveness was the key to healing, and that she had the strength to move forward from even the most difficult situations. Sophie continued to work on herself and her own happiness, and eventually, she found love again. This time, she was cautious and careful, but she was also open to the possibility of a new relationship. Sophie realized that she had grown and changed so much since her heartbreak, and she was now a stronger, more resilient person. She knew that she deserved to be with someone who loved and respected her, and she was willing to wait for the right person to come along. Sophie's story is a reminder that even when life takes unexpected turns, we can always find a way to keep moving forward. It's never too late to let go of the past and forgive those who have hurt us, and it's always possible to find love and happiness again. In the end, Sophie learned that even the deepest heartbreaks can be overcome with time, patience, and self-love. She realized that forgiveness is a powerful tool for healing, and that it's never too late to let go of the past and move forward towards a brighter future. And that's Sophie's story. I am glad to have had the opportunity to share it to you and to remind you that you too have the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacles that come your way. Thank you very much for listening.